guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Branches. For those of you who don't know, my name is Alexis and I'm an amateur genealogist, and I discuss family histories, everything genealogical, can't say that word, and just history. You know, history is very important and it is very much intertwined with our families. So today I will be reading an autobiography of I believe he is my third great uncle. Yes, that's it. His name is Walter Edwin Nichols. And before I get into that, I just wanted to kind of give you a backstory on the Nichols family. They, as far back as I have traced, are back to the 1700s, is in a place called North Parrott, Somerset, England. And Somerset is a tiny little village kind of on the border of Dorset, and it has a sister village called South Somerset. They are both named after the Parrott River that runs through the area, obviously. And so North Parrott has some Roman and Bronze Age settlement areas that have been found there. They also have a church that dates back to the 12th century. That's St. Martin's Church, where a lot of my family is actually buried. The Nichols family came over in the mid to late 1800s, and I'll be discussing that in just a few minutes. I'm going to insert some pictures of North Parrott right now. Okay, now that you know a little bit about North Parrott, I'll talk about my third great uncle. Walter is the son of William Henry Job Nichols and Anne Weber, both born in Somerset, Crewkerne, which is about 3 miles east of North Parrott. And so Walter came over to America in 1881. He was born in September of 1866 in Crewkerne. I think that's how you pronounce it. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, he arrived in 1884. Not 1880, he arrived in 1881, sorry. And that's 3 years before his family arrived. But we'll get on with his autobiography here. Okay. And it says, I was born in the town of Crewkerne, Somerset, England, in September of 1866. I didn't have a chance to have much schooling. My parents were poor and had a large family of boys and girls. There were 15 of us. It's kind of crazy. 15 children? Couldn't even imagine that many children. I went to work for other men quite young. First of all, I worked for a man selling coal oil. Then I worked for a bookstore selling papers. Then at the shirt factory where my mother and sisters worked. Then I worked for 6 years for John Partridge. And when I left him to come to America, he gave me a Bible, and on the flyleaf he wrote a recommend to whom it may concern. I was baptized in the late summer of 1878 by Hiram Bennion. I walked 14 miles, 7 miles there and 7 miles back with my mother. After I was baptized, the spirit of wanting to go to Utah possessed me, and I prayed all the time about it at my work all day long in a large basement. We had to have candles in some parts of it for light, which is really sad. I can't imagine working and living in those conditions that they did back then. I used to kneel behind the barrels to pray. I used to cry while praying, and I couldn't help it, and I haven't got over it yet. It gets the best of me, and I can't overcome it. The Lord answered my humble prayers just a week before the ship left Liverpool for New York. My mother got word from Liverpool to send the lad along, as the money was deposited for my fare to Utah. I don't know who paid for his trip. I'm not sure if his family just worked and raised the money. But yeah, it's a lot of money. How this did strengthen my faith and prayer to the Lord. I left Liverpool September 3rd, 1881, and has been a blessing to me ever since. So he got to America probably later. I don't know how long it took for them to cross, so I don't know if he was here in 1881 or 1882 if he actually arrived, but he did leave Liverpool in September of 1881, just before his birthday. So once he got over here, he says, at the sheep camp on the range, when my horses were lost from me and I didn't know where to go to find them, I would go behind a bush and ask the Lord to direct my footsteps. I will always believe I came here through the power of prayer, and my parents and brothers and sisters came here that same way. It's a miracle to me how we ever came to this goodly land. The blessings that have been ours makes my heart swell with gratitude to the Lord when I think about it, more than I can express. I didn't have to ask anyone to help me but the Lord. He is the only one, and He gave me what I asked for. He raised up kind friends to take care of me when I came here homeless, and my mother and father have often thought about it. I refused to go places to work, but I went the first thing when my brother Bennion sent a man for me. They are the very best I can think of. They were kind to me, and I made my home with them in comfort as long as I wanted to, and I respect them and appreciate them very much for it. I will get into the Bennion brothers in another video because it's a really interesting story. That family is. And Brother Bennion Sr. gave me the first 50 cents I ever owned at Christmas, and I showed it to him the next Christmas, thinking I would earn money to send for the folks sometime. I believe I was blessed with that good principle of faith when a boy, for the first thing when I was worried was to resort to prayer. So basically he said, when he was a kid, the first thing he would do when he was worried was to pray about it. In the spring of 1888, when I went to conference with Brother and Sister Bennion, we got home in time for supper. Some of us were seated around the table when Brother Bennion started to ask me questions about my folks, how many in the family and their ages. Then he took his pencil and started to figure, and when he gave the amount in dollars and cents to bring them from Liverpool, I had a very peculiar feeling go through me. He said, Walt, if I send this money and bring your folks here and something should happen you didn't like, I answered, Brother Bennion, if you do that, I promise you I won't leave you until it is paid. He said to me, I will have your folks here by September, company. I got up from the table. My eyes were filled with tears. He said, where are you going? I answered, down to tell Tom, cousin and good friend. They wanted me to eat, but I was too full. I couldn't eat. The Lord had answered my prayers again. But I will say that Brother Benny never once came into my mind that the Lord would go through. And he had never ever mentioned it to me before. How thankful I was and so very happy. So, because of this man, my entire family came from England to America. My Nichols family. The last in my direct line of my great-grandparents, my second great-grandfather was born in Lancashire, England, and he came over when he was about 5 years old. They came over when he was about 5 years old. It's crazy to me, the kindness of some people, even back then. I'll go on. I was herding sheep in Echo Canyon at the time the folks went by on their way to Salt Lake City, but I did not know they were here. They were here 3 weeks before I knew they were here. I will never forget when I met my mother. She could not speak. She was so overjoyed. When she got control of her feelings, she said, my son, it is tears of joy and thankfulness for his blessings to us. I have never heard her complain, always thanking the Lord in prayer in all of her talk for bringing us here. She used to tell us we call Zion is the furnace to try to purify us from the dross of this world and the love of things that will keep us out of this kingdom. We would not be happy there unless we were free from all these things. It would be like a shoe that did not fit. It would hurt us to be there. What a blessing it would be to be good, clean, and pure, and live up to every principle of the law of God, and feel free of any weakness, whatever. So, it took me several years, many years actually, to find this. I only found this autobiography maybe 5 years ago, something like that, 4 or 5 years ago. I was so excited because I knew that the entire family came over at one time, but I didn't know how they could have possibly afforded this, because they were weavers. And as he says, working in a basement with very little light. I can only imagine what their living conditions must have been like. Terrible, right? But yeah, they came over. The entire family came over. And I can imagine how long it took him to work to pay Mr. Bennion back. I don't know. A little bit about Walter. Walter was, like I said, he was born in 1866. Sorry. And he married a Ruby Palmer when he was 33 years old, August 15th, 1900, and they had 11 children together. And so he had a very long life. And if it wasn't for him, my family would not be here in America. And, it just kind of blows my mind. But anyway, so that is the story of how my Nichols family came to America. Yes, they were Mormons. Whatever you feel about that faith, that's fine. But if it wasn't for these people, my family wouldn't be here in America. I have a picture of Walter and my 4th great grandparents, and I will insert them right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like, a little thumbs up there. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you will be notified whenever my videos go live. And next week I will be discussing the Bennion family, the ones who actually brought my family, my ancestors, over here to America. So until next week, I'll see you guys later, and y'all stay curious.